So in data validation, we are going to input the correct data into the system. Then data validation, we are using some methods. First one is a data type check. While we are entering data, we check whether the type data is correct or wrong. So we call it as data type check. Check whether the correct data type, that means numeric, text, date, currency, etc. It is correctly input to the system, whether the input data are correct. Then second one is a present check. Present check, I think you are familiar with that Google Gmail account, where while you are making Gmail account, they're asking username password with asterisk sign. You can't skip that. Okay, so username password come with asterisk. If you skip, you can't go to the next step. To complete the step, you must enter the username password. Okay. So percent check will come with the asterisk mark. The percent of data entry field is not in the blank. So you must enter the data into that particular field and check it is the presence of data is checked. It is compulsory to input import data. The entering data is compulsory for that particular test box. Then range check. So range check in the sense, think about the subject marks 0 to 100. So the marks cannot exceed more than 100 and cannot below the 0. Okay. So mark should be the range of 0 to 100. Check whether the data is in the allowed range. Marks have to be between 0 and 100. Commonly used when working with data and consist of numbers, currency, or dates, time. Is that clear? Then we will discuss about the verification. So validating means we are checking whether the input data, we are correctly input data to the system. We are checking whether we input data correctly to the system. Then verify. Check whether the input data is correct. So after inputting data, we check whether the input data is correct. So username, password, verify, authorize user. So whether correct user log into the system is verification. Data verification is a process of checking entire database for any inconsistency or errors. If the check whether there are any errors, verify whether they are unauthorized person within the system, then we have to remove them. So user username password, verify while they are entering into the system. So when data is migrate from a data warehouse for use in big data process system, the data need to be checked to ensure that is accurate. Again, look at the validate. Validating means input data in correctly to the system. Input data, that means input correct data to the system. We check whether we input correct data to the system. If they are asking the date of birth in DDMY pattern, so we must enter the date first, then month, then year. So without scribbling that. Okay. So validation means input correct data to the system. Verify means check whether input data is correct. Check whether the input data. For example, while we are typing some paragraph, we check whether we have typed correctly. That is verification. While entering the form, we check whether we input date, month, year in correct format, whether the marks is between 0 to 100, whether we skip any text boxes. Those are validation. Verification means we check whether the input data is correct. Can you understand the difference between that? That means, well, check whether the input data is correct. If there are unauthorized person is in the system, or avoid unauthorized person access to the system, that also coming under the verification. Is that clear? Okay, shall we copy these two? Copy these two slides.